The most dangerous financial advice you ever got came from someone who was really good at school. Think about that. The person who explained compound interest to you probably couldn't tell you the difference between an asset and a liability. And that's the whole point. Being smart and being financially free are not the same skill. In fact, being smart can work against you. Studies show people with higher cognitive ability are more likely to take on credit card debt, not because they don't understand the math, but because they're confident they can manage it. They know how debt works. They just think they're the exception to how debt ends. That's the trap, not ignorance. Overconfidence dressed up as intelligence. Smart people love optimizing things that don't matter. They spend 4 hours comparing high-yield savings accounts, building spreadsheets, reading Reddit threads, then go out to eat somewhere they can't afford to celebrate finding the account with 0.3% better interest. That's not a hypothetical, that's a Tuesday. Smart people can make any decision sound rational. Want to stay in a job that underpays you? No problem. Here's a sophisticated explanation involving stability, benefits, and paying your dues. This is called rationalization, and the smarter you are, the better your justifications sound, especially to yourself. Then there's analysis paralysis. It's where smart people go to slowly lose. You know that feeling of standing in front of Netflix with 47,000 options, spending 45 minutes reading descriptions, and then going to bed having watched nothing? That's smart people and investing. They research ETFs, read books about index funds, learn all the vocabulary, and then wait for the perfect moment to start. The perfect moment is a myth. At some point, doing the thing poorly beats planning to do it perfectly forever. This is exactly the gap Vantrell Wealth exists to close. Not adding more information to the pile you already have, but actually turning knowledge into action. Because that gap? That's where smart people quietly lose, year after year. Here's an uncomfortable fact. Research found that professional fund managers, MBAs, decades of experience, data most of us will never see, consistently underperform basic index funds over time. Why? Because their intelligence convinced them they could outsmart the market. They traded more, saw patterns that weren't there. All that sophisticated thinking cost them. The market doesn't care how smart you are. And the final thing, the one nobody says out loud, smart people are the hardest to help. Not because they're arrogant, though sometimes that too, but because they've already read the book. They know the principle. So guidance feels redundant, and implementation feels beneath the analysis they've already done. They've thought themselves past the basics and into a more sophisticated version of doing nothing. The basics work. Boring, automated, consistent investing builds real wealth. Not because it's clever, because it's consistent. And consistency isn't an IQ thing. It's a behavior thing. The people quietly building wealth aren't the most credentialed. They're the ones who got bored of being interesting and started being automatic. That's where the money actually lives.